Just how valuable is Owen Tippett? We see the rumors constantly about, well, the Flyers are listening on Tippett. They're not going out of their way to shop him, but nonetheless, teams are calling. I want to make a comparison as we estimate Owen Tippett's value here to a one Matthew Knies, who has been thrown out there. A lot of rumors. To start, you're talking about Matthew Knies, 23 years old, signed for the next 5 years at over $7.7 million, has gone almost 30 goals, has gone over 65 points. Matthew Knies is a unique player. The power profile he brings, people talk about the sheer 6'3", 225 to 30 pounds. I mean, he's built like an NFL linebacker. The element of power to Matthew Knies' game is not that common, to say the least. The rumors about the Maple Leafs pursuing a potential Matthew Knies trade, the return that's been ballparked out there is a top 10 level pick. Who exactly would be that trade partner, or if that trade partner even comes to fruition, your guess is as good as mine. But if Matthew Knies is worth in and around a top 10 pick, to me, Owen Tippett, the gap is not that far. It's not. Yes, he's 3.5 years older than Matthew Knies, but his blend of both power and pace to his game is just nearly one of one. You look at the skating, 99th percentile across the board, whether it's max skating speed at almost 24 miles per hour. You look at the sheer amount of 20 to 22 mile per hour bursts that Owen Tippett brings. An all situations player, a guy who is signed through his age 32 season. He still has 6 years at just $6.2 million. You think about the right shot aspect. You start to compare Knies to Tippett. In a vacuum, it's Knies. Knies would be certainly the guy you poll the league more preferred to an Owen Tippett as far as sheer value in a vacuum. But I think Owen Tippett's worth in and around a top 15 pick. I really believe that, especially when you consider the playoff element to his game that we just saw, dominating multiple games while dealing with a sports hernia. Incredible series against the Penguins where he single-handedly won you a game. That move he put on the back line of the Pittsburgh Penguins and then ultimately the goalie faking out Skinner. I mean, you cannot find Tippett's skill set all that easily, and the Flyers cannot be all that quick to give him up. But if there is a time to deal him, it would be in and around the here and now up until the NHL draft. Specifically, Owen Tippett as a top 15 overall pick player. His value plus the Flyers' 21st overall pick, I really think a potential package where you're trading up into the top 10, give or take. The funniest thing would be the Florida Panthers making a reunion after they traded Owen Tippett in the Claude Giroux deal years back at this point, which is insane to think about how time flies. The Flyers and the Florida Panthers potentially re-engaging in a deal, that 9th overall pick being a part of that, the headliner. You look at the Panthers just trading Mackie Samoskevich, who, again, if you want a ballpark value, a 23-year-old, a right wing, a right shot, but a guy who's just gone in and around 30 points, who doesn't have a contract, who doesn't have the anywhere near demonstrated impact type of top 6 minutes that Owen Tippett has displayed, netting a 25th overall pick plus a future second. I think the Flyers, Owen Tippett, the value that he provides, we might just see a trade materialize within the next several days in the lead up to the draft. Owen Tippett, his unique profile presents a unique opportunity for the Flyers. And when you consider the winger logjam, as far as giving top 6 minutes, power play time, that's another element to this. Owen Tippett, his value that he has shown as a player, touching nearly 30-plus goals, over 50 points. Anytime there's a national broadcast, people like your PK Subban, like your Steve Levy, they talk about Owen Tippett as, oh my God, is he the most talented player on this Flyers roster? He could easily be a 35, even Messier, 35, a 40-plus goal scorer. The raw talent is there. Age 27, in his prime. Also factoring in how poorly of a power play Owen Tippett has had to be a part of. If he's in any other team's power play rotation, you think those 50 points, those 28 goals, that easily tips up into 30-30, 35-30, 35-35, 70 points. I'm not saying Owen Tippett's likely to be traded, but if there is a pre-draft blockbuster, I really think Owen Tippett could just be that headliner. In terms of a pre-draft trade, it's Owen Tippett, maybe it's Rasmus Ristolainen, either or. Both, don't quite see it, but Rasmus Ristolainen, the Ottawa rumors just don't seem to really be stopping as far as the mutual interest in, well, Sens and Risto, Flyers, and multiple Ottawa Senators centers. Could we see the 21st overall pick included? I think you absolutely could in a potential Ottawa-Philly deal. And then you go down the line as far as potential pre-draft trades where maybe you're including the 21st overall pick. Maybe you're acquiring a pick in return. Cam York is a name when you consider the Bowen Byram rumors. You look to Seattle. Are they going to trade potentially a center given they just engaged in the Florida Panthers Sam Miskevich acquiring role there, giving up the 25th overall pick, giving up a future second? Not so sure how eager Seattle would be to trade one of their centers in a Beniers, in a Shane Wright. But there's certainly a possibility. If the Flyers are to make a big splash, a big move, this offseason, the time is now. The time is leading up to the NHL draft, where, say nothing materializes as far as trades, I could see the Flyers, whether, frankly, a trade or not involving Owen Tippett, involving any roster player currently, depending on how the board breaks, what if we do draft yet another wing? Elton, Hermanson, Liam Ruck. Why am I identifying these two players? Because, frankly, they have upside. They have legitimate goal-scoring ability. They're in and around 6 foot, 6'1", 170 pounds, certainly a lot of developmental runway. And you look at, in the case of Hermanson, plays up to the AHL equivalent in Sweden, has a very, very respectable point output. You look at actually improving from his U20 level where maybe he was just waiting for that call-up. He knew he was too good for that level. 11 goals, 21 total points in 38 games in a men's league. Hermanson is the top 6 type of upside swing where if there's no impact center who's a potential top 6 player, if a command goes ahead of him, and the Flyers are looking at Hermanson on the board, if there's no impact type of defenseman, and you're looking at potentially, what about Liam Ruck? Talk about a winger who is actually a twin. His brother Marcus, their dream, understandably, their dream is to be on the same team. The Flyers, given the picks that they've traded away, given you're now just looking at a first, a second, a 6th and 7th pick, as far as rounds go in this upcoming 2026 NHL draft, going to be tough to get both, but Liam is certainly, as far as prospect profile, you look at over, funny enough, an exactly 82-game sample this past year, 68 regular season, 14 playoff games, had 53 goals over 82 games. That alone is a very attractive proposition to your Flyers. A guy that, by all accounts, is a microwave He doesn't need a lot in terms of generating a lethal shot, netting goals at a very, very high clip. His brother was more of the playmaker in Marcus. Look, the Flyers landing both would be so, so intriguing. And frankly, you would have to view it as very positive for their upside trajectory. Developmentally, staying on the same team for the foreseeable future. And you look at the Medicine Hat WHL program, they're loading up for a heck of a potential Memorial Cup run next season. You just let them cook. You let them develop a little bit more. The Flyers, look, we're not looking for that immediate pick at 21 to then go straight into the NHL. By no means. Liam Ruck, he is similar to Hermanson, the exact type of swing that I'm interested in taking. I don't want to go for potential bottom six center, a bottom pair defenseman. You either get a potential power play quarterback. On that blue line, you get a potential center who could be a responsible but upside play alongside the aforementioned glut of wingers you already have, or you get a goal-scoring, point-producing wing. That is the calculus for me at pick 21. No ifs, ands, or buts. If they still sit and pick at pick 21. We're approaching June 23rd. Why June 23rd? Because that's a special day in Flyers history. I'm sure at this point, if you follow the Flyers in any capacity, you know, well, this time, June 23rd, 2025, a certain important trade took place. Trevor Zegras coming to your Philadelphia Flyers in exchange for Ryan Poehling, who's had a great season there in Anaheim, and the 45th overall pick in last draft. Oh, so we have a 1-year running anniversary, right? No, we can go back years and years. You talk about Mike Richards, Jeff Carter back in 2011, Wayne Simmons, Braden Shen, Voracek, Coots, all being involved in those massive franchise-altering deals in 2011. 2012, JVR for another Shen, this time Luke Shen. Then you look at Hartnell for Umberger in 2014, June 23rd. June 23rd, 2017, Shen gets traded for what would become Frost and Farabee, who then go out in, of course, not this past season, but a year ago, moving both Frost and Farabee to Calgary. Do we see a June 23rd move yet again?